Rangers lose to the LA Kings by a final score of 3-1. This was a game that the Rangers deserved to lose. The Kings were absolutely the better team in this one. There was no question about that. They outshot the Rangers 39-23. The Rangers really didn't generate a whole lot of sustained pressure until later in the third period. The Rangers had some early chances. Ryan Strome, in particular, had some opportunities to score. Cal Peterson was in goal for the Kings, their backup goalie, not Jonathan Quick. And Strome, too many times, he just hasn't been able to bury the puck. He is more of an assist guy than a goals guy. I think that much, is we know, at least in his time as a Ranger. But you really want to see him be able to score some key goals. And I feel like too many times he has prime opportunities and either shoots it right into the goalie or just has it open net and just cannot score. He needs to. But that's an initial thought. Gerard Gallant out, COVID protocol, so that's really the most notable thing. Chris Knobloch, who filled in admirably last year for David Quinn. Chris Knobloch, the Hartford Wolfpack AHL head coach, he comes in and he fills in for Gallant. And unfortunately, with not great results in this one. So Gallant's out. Barclay Goodrow also out due to COVID. And that was something that we learned, prior to the game. So, and you can feel like they definitely missed Goodrow. He is one of those guys, when he's not in there, you miss that. I think they could have definitely used his grind, winning board battles. He really is a very important piece of this team. So he wasn't in there. Artemi Panarin returns, but wasn't really effective at all. Did not, and that's okay. Panarin obviously had been out with COVID. He traveled from East Coast to West Coast. He wasn't good tonight, plain and simple. He looked off. The timing wasn't right. So Panarin back, but not good. And Patrick Nemeth also returned, and that took, unfortunately, Nils Lundkvist out of the lineup. So, like I said, clearly Lundkvist, I don't think that this coaching staff thinks very highly of him, and that's fair, sure. But you play Jared Tenorti, who I know scored the goal last game, with Nemeth. They tried that pair at times early in the season, and it never worked. And they got a lot of minutes in this game. They got about 14 to 15 minutes of ice time. And we're talking they got 14 minutes of even strength ice time. This wasn't like it was penalty kill aided. So Nemeth Tenorti was a thing. Don't agree with that. Hope that isn't the case next game. I hope Lundkvist is in for Tenorti. That seems like that would make sense. But McKegg was going to be the healthy scratch until Goodrow was out. So Panarin was going to replace McKegg. Instead, Panarin replaces Goodrow. So we're all cut off in terms of how the roster looks. But the Rangers in this one, like I said, they had those early chances, weren't able to score. Georgiev was strong. In the first period, Georgiev really kept them in it. And especially so after Kakko takes a high sticking penalty. So Kakko takes a penalty. And, with Kakko, He's been all right. You gotta like his two-way game. I feel like he could be someone I think in the future that could be a guy that kills penalties. I could see that. It's not at that point yet, but that's the praise I'll give for him. But I still would like to see more from Kakko. He had that one nice 10-game stretch or so. Must have been over a month ago, and really. Since then, it just hasn't been much. So Kakko takes a penalty. Rangers do kill it off. And the Rangers have a couple of power plays, and it wasn't good. Lafreniere draws a tripping penalty. Then the Rangers don't score. Then there's a too many men on the ice penalty at the end of the first period that carried over to the second. They don't score on that either. They didn't really look good. I would have honestly tried to give the second unit a little bit more of a look. But then the second period comes around, and like I said, the Rangers did not play very well in the first. They played even worse in the second, a really poor second period. And 55 seconds in, it is a goal for Philippe Danault. And this was a Keandre Miller turnover. So just like last game against the Ducks, where the Ducks take a 1-0 lead on a Miller turnover, it happens again. Miller turns the puck over too much. And I say it a million times, he recovers, give him credit for that. He does make up for his mistakes, but you're not going to be able to do it all the time. And he is just very turnover prone. Look, I like how he's been playing, but you can't do that. And to make matters worse, Trevor Moore is the one that gets the initial shot off the turnover, and the rebound's just sitting there, and Miller and Trouba just kind of did a flyby, and Danault comes in and scores. So Jorge did everything he could in that situation. That's a bad job by Miller and Trouba. And they've, it's been a little bit of a rough go for those two lately. I think overall their seasons have been strong, but with Trouba, I've noticed, some bad habits creeping back into his game and just, looking a little bit slower out there, turning the puck over a little bit too much. But the Kings make it 1-0, and then they score again. And this one, in a game which Georgiev played very well, this was Georgiev. You got to give him some blame on this one. Although, interestingly enough, the Strome line, which was poor with Panarin and Lafreniere, and the Tenori Nemeth pair were on. So I want to give them some blame too. But Georgiev kind of lost control of the puck. It's hard to explain exactly what even happened, but it was a bad-looking goal. Blake Lizotte is the one who scores. It makes it 2-0 Kings. Later in the period, Trouba would take a penalty. The Rangers kill that off, so it's 2-0 going to the third. And the Kings are in pretty much control of this game until it's a goal for Mika Zibanejad, his 13th goal of the season, assisted by Hedel and McKegg. So Zibanejad had come on for Rooney. It was a deflection goal by Zibanejad. Fox keeps it in. Mika has been real. It's funny. He is so streaky. Like I've said, he looks really good lately. Not just and I think it's leading 2 goals. That's the funny thing. Like when he was playing poorly, he wasn't scoring goals. Now he is. And he just looks so much better out there. So Mika is one of the bright spots. So he cuts it to 2-1, but then it's a penalty for Alexis Lafreniere a couple of minutes later. At the 13-minute mark, Lafreniere takes a German penalty, and he had an opportunity playing with Panarin and Strome. And I'll give him this. Panarin wasn't his normal self in this game, but Lafreniere just couldn't really take advantage of that opportunity. And I know Lafreniere was also on his offside. Lafreniere's a left wing. He was on the right side, and he looked good early. He had that nice setup to Strome where Strome didn't score. But then as the game progressed, Lafreniere didn't look great. So but the Rangers do kill that off. And they had some opportunities to tie it up. Nothing great, but Johnny Brodzinski had an opportunity. But they hold it off, and then Adrian Kempe scores an empty net goal. Shot it down from his own zone. It goes in, and the Kings win it 3-1. And the Kings deserved to win it. It was too late. Too little too late. The Rangers finally got going. And, we've seen some of these performances from the Rangers where – like the Vegas game was different. The Vegas game was like a complete embarrassment, but Vegas is also better than the Kings. So, the two kind of go hand in hand. Sometimes the Rangers have struggled. The Rangers scoring, goal scoring is a bit problematic at times. It really is. And we'll see what they do, in this Sharks game, which is in a little bit of a break here. 2 days in between the Kings and Sharks games. The Rangers beat the Sharks 1-0 early in the season. And, you want to win that one because then at least you split the 4-game West Coast trip before heading to Philly. So the road trip isn't over, but the West Coast part of it would be. And it would be nice to win this. You win the Shark game and you split those you split those 4 games. That's acceptable. That's very acceptable. But if you lose that, that's not great, honestly. Winning 1 out of 4, not great. But hopefully they can win that Sharks game. Who comes back from the COVID list? I don't know. But I'll say this. It won't be Gallant. It won't be Shesterkin. And it won't be Goodrow. If anything, maybe – I really don't think it'll be anyone. Maybe Gauthier. You know what? I'm going to say no one. I'm going to say that it's going to be a similar lineup, assuming that no one else goes on the COVID list. So that's a very fluid situation. You just kind of have to deal with it. Every team's going through it, so you can't complain. But Rangers dropped to 23-10-4 as they will head to San Jose to complete this West Coast swing.